Welcome to Learn and Love Music. I'm Duane Hulbert. This week we're going to explore a wonderful sonata by Mozart. I'm actually familiar with this sonata because I've taught the fast movements of this sonata, the first movement and the last movement. I've had students play this piece. And when I taught this piece, I thought it was a great piece because it had this sort of darkness and this real pathos and all of that. So the first movement of this sonata, Köchel 457, sounds like this. It has a lot of pathos to it. Sounds almost like a Beethoven sonata. So this was my introduction to this sonata. And then, of course, the last movement has a similar kind of pathos, also in C minor, darkness, dreary. What I didn't realize is that there was a rose between two thorns. The thorns being the outside movements and this wonderful gem in the middle, the slow movement. Now, most classical sonatas have a slow movement, and they're usually beautiful. But I like the setting of this, the darkness and the dreariness on the outside, and the lyricism on the inside. So let's explore this adagio from Mozart's K457. The first thing I discovered in this music was its lyricism. It's a slow movement, it's beautiful, and it makes me want to sing. I'm a singer. A lot of times when I'm playing, people always hear me humming under my breath, but I can't help it. It's such wonderful music. Listen to this opening section of the adagio. He marks it sotto voce, which means quiet voice, but it is so sublime. Here it is, adagio in E flat major. Very simple, straightforward. Now our first ornament comes up. And then singing lines coming down. And second time through the theme, little decoration, turns. Little bolder. Playfulness. On the second page, listen to this beautiful B-flat major passage that has the same kind of lyricism, but this time in thirds. It's a very sweet kind of sound. Thirds, more thirds. More lyricism. I love that cadence too, because a lot of times in Mozart we always expect the cadence to do something like this. And he does this. Surprise. Into G minor. They call that a deceptive cadence. There are a lot of surprises in this movement, but most importantly, it's lyrical and it is so heartwarming and just fantastic. The second thing that I discovered was Mozart's use of ornamentation, trills, turns, and all of that. And sometimes he piles them on one after the other. Toward the beginning of the piece, we have this run that goes up, and then he puts in 4 turns or ornaments in a row. It's so classical and wonderful, so much like what we expect Mozart to sound like. Here it is. Here are the ornaments. Ornament. Four ornaments in a row. It's so wonderful the way he treats this music in a typical classical style. And here's another example of ornamentation. Toward the end of the movement, he crams 4 turns in a row in. And you have to keep your tempo going, and it can't sound frantic. it has to sound just kind of bubbly in a way. Here's this passage. And a trill. That's my favorite passage of this whole piece. But remember, when you're playing ornaments, they cannot sound labored. They have to be very light, very quick, and have that airy kind of classical style to them. The third thing I discovered was breathtaking scales. These are fabulous. And, I think as a student, when I was a student, I know I had to practice my scales a lot. And a lot of times when you get to a big scale, you get a little afraid of it. But these passages, they are treacherous in a way. There are so many notes in the scales that you can't even keep it into one beat. It just has this almost a crammed in kind of sound. But the sound has to be effortless. And here's this first scale. This is material from the second page. And notice what happens when we get to those scales. Calm and beautiful. Another one. And one more. That's when I take a big breath. I made it through those. But remember, when you practice these kinds of scales, they have to fit in. We have something like 19 or 20 notes in one beat. You just have to go for it and really be elegant, and most importantly, make it sound like it's easy. And here's another example of wonderful scales, and it's followed by more ornaments. This is toward the end of the movement, and it is fabulous. There are so many exciting moments at the end of this piece. Let me play this passage. You'll hear scales going down, scales going up, and then you'll hear some wonderful turns. I'll talk you through it. Here it is, the beginning of this section here. Ornaments, turns, more turns. Now some more turns. Scales. Scales going down. The lowest notes of the whole piece, down to low B flat, and then another scale. Like a cadenza. And he laughs it off with a few more turns. That was easy. Trills. It's so enjoyable to listen to this music. But when you play it, it must sound effortless. That's the way Mozart wants it to be. And finally, the fourth thing that I discovered was bold key changes. Listen to some of these passages, and he'll shift keys without warning. But it is really quite moving the way he does it. When I first played Mozart, the whole piece is in C major. A few little key changes, but not so much. This is really much different. It almost sounds a little bit more romantic than classical in a way. Here's this first key change. I'm starting off in the key of E flat major. We've got some ornaments here too as well. E flat major, some scale, and A flat. Finally, a beautiful cadence in E flat major. Without warning, we go right to A flat major. Completely different. And here are some other places where there are key changes. I love this passage. It has a run in it. B flat. And then it goes into a minor key. Surprise. G flat major. Dark and beautiful. Some turns. G flat major, E flat major, A flat minor, B flat minor. Where is it going to end up? G major. It's interesting listening to this mature Mozart because he uses practically every key in this piece, but he moves from key to key effortlessly. It's fabulous, wonderful, wonderful color and beauty. Something we don't always hear in the classical period. This is a very special piece, this Mozart sonata. I've given you 4 things that I've discovered in this piece. Perhaps you'll find some of your own discoveries. In any case, make sure you watch our companion video. You can hear the piece in its entirety. Thanks for watching Learn and Love Music. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.